Lewis Morgan. We go way, way back. Like years. We're friends. You sound like you're from London. I feel like I can talk in a perfect British accent.
You don't sound British. You just
Oh,
sound like...
fuck off, you wanker. This is perfect.
You just sound like an idiot.
Where did the name come from? Because you could have chosen any animal. Zebra, gorilla, dog, gym dog.
Gymshark. With a P.
You said you're doing cam shows?
I was doing cam shows.
Slur. You're just like, he's a wizard. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Don't Be Sour. We have a very special guest all the way across the pond, Mr. Lewis Morgan.
Thank you.
What's up, dude?
I'm good. How's things?
It's, we go way, way back.
Like
years.
Like
We're friends.
What we thinking? 2000
Was it 15?
14, 15, maybe?
14, 15. Mm-hmm. Do you know the story of how we met?
I don't know the
first time we met.
Initial story. As I said, I can remember the Vegas one. We met shortly before that, right?
It was at the Vegas. You were there.
Oh, that was the first time we met.
Physically met.
Right.
It was right after I launched Ever Forward, and
before, I think, right?
No, it was right after. It was right after.
Right. Okay.
Because I talked to you about our launch.
Yes.
And do you want to know? I don't know if you remember this magical little story, but you were there with Ben. And it was myself, Christian, I believe at the time he was dating Nikki, and maybe like one other person. There was 6 of us. I remember this specifically because you and Ben went up to the bar, and you were like, they're like, how many of us are there? And we're like, there's 6. And you go, yeah, can I get 12 double vodka diets, please? And I was like, what the fuck, man? Because not only was I like, that's a lot of freaking money at a Vegas bar to get the doubles, but I was like, these guys can drink. So I thought, as a tribute to that, we do, because we each got 2 doubles. So I think it deserves we do some doubles of the drink that we had, and we're gonna wash it down with some Diet Coke, dude. This is the mems right here.
You do realize that I am English and I can drink.
I know, dude. You sound like you're from London.
Close, but...
Can I ask you a serious question?
Go on.
Were you born with that accent, or did you develop it as you got older?
Well, I'd say I developed it. I don't think you're born with any accent.
You sure? You're telling me like a baby born in France doesn't have a French accent?
No. I feel like if you were born in France and then I delivered you to America and you grew up around American people, then you would have an American accent.
You know what? Maybe agree to disagree, dude.
Okay.
I feel okay. That's all right.
What? So you think you come out the womb with an accent?
Listen to how I talk and listen to how you talk, dude.
Yeah, but it's because you've grown up in America and I've grown up in England.
I think out of the womb. He's like, this guy's stupid.
Shots.
Yeah,
these are spiders' legs.
I know. We did 6 doubles. No. Did I say 6? I meant 12.
Yeah, 12.
Yeah, you said 12 doubles.
Yeah.
So we each got 2. So we're gonna just.
And did you last the night? What happened?
Oh, I'm sure I was face down at the club. Right. I have a big thing about I fall asleep when I drink. When I drink heavily, and I'm at a club, if it's like 2 a.m. and nothing like super cool is happening, I'm asleep in the bar, in the club, like in the section. I'm asleep. Cheers, dude. And we're gonna swing both of these back.
What? Both of them?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh my! It tastes like fucking ass, dude. Ooh. He's a mat.
Well, that starts the podcast.
That's gonna lube us up. Oh my, bro! Vodka tastes like just like rubbing alcohol.
Vodka's cheap. It's not my cup of tea, really.
What's your cup of tea?
I don't drink often. First time I drunk in maybe about a year was yesterday, and we were on the tequilas with Christian, obviously for his birthday yesterday.
Oh yeah, no, I wasn't invited to that.
Well, I think you probably heard about it, and you didn't decide to turn up because you know what happens when you come out drinking with the boys.
I fall asleep 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Well, Lewis, dude, why don't you tell us who you are and what you do? I feel like everyone knows your history, but I want you to answer this question as if it's a random person. I like to put the situation of like you're in an Uber somewhere,
okay,
and someone's just like, "Hey, like, what do you do? What is your identifier?"
Right now, so for me personally, I'm someone that can create a brand from practically nothing. I can take someone's idea from their head or an idea that already exists and make it into a real thing, something that produces cash. That's what I feel like I'm good at.
That's what you tell people you do?
No, but that's what I'm telling you I do. So
what do you tell a random person you do?
I just say I own an e-commerce company, an e-commerce group, and when we buy companies or we partner with entrepreneurs around the world, that's what I'd say I do. And if people ask, what did you used to do? I say I was the co-founder of Gymshark.
That's exciting stuff, dude. When we had that magical night, when we had our 12 doubles, I remember something fond right before this podcast. You were talking about how we were talking about Ever Forward, and it's so funny to think back. This was like a month after I launched because I launched in like August and Olympia was in September. And I remember telling you, it was kind of like, we were in this back kind of section, a bunch of people were talking, and it was like you and me in kind of the corner. That's the first time we really connected. And I remember telling you about Ever Forward, and I said, man, we had our first launch, and actually we had like 300 units, and we sold out in like an hour. And you were like, that's it. And what's crazy is like, that isn't that crazy. But you were so like humble about like how like excited you were for me and how like the advice you were giving me. And it wasn't like, I don't know what Gymshark was doing at the time.
Probably about, but maybe 10 million.
So chump change at the time.
Maybe 10 mil.
But even then you were like, yeah, because that's amazing. Yes. That's awesome.
Do you know why? Because when you spoke to me about it, you brought the memories I had of starting the first company and getting the first sales. And I knew that you can never take yourself, once you go past that point, you can never take yourself back to that feeling that you had right there of getting your first sales. Yeah. Which is why you were bringing me back to when I first did that. And that was why I loved it so much. And as you know, probably thinking back, like how excited you were to get your first sales. Like someone's actually bought this stuff that I have took out of my head. I've built like a brand structure around it, and I've sold it, and people have brought into it. Like that's an incredible thing.
Yeah. Do you think the times that you're excited about the first, let's say the first couple years of a business, do you find that more exciting than when it's, obviously I'm not even like financially doing extremely well, but just like, it's like a well-oiled machine. It's like an actual company now. Do you find it, do you sometimes be like, man, I kind of miss when we were printing in our room and stuff, and I get it, things are nicer now and I'm, more secure now, but I feel like the excitement has different levels, even though the company is growing. I don't know if it grows exactly with it.
Yep, definitely. Obviously you miss it. I think no one doesn't look back and miss the times they had before. Like when you go to school, people, your parents tell you and they're like, you're going to miss school. Like you really are. And you think, fuck off. School. How am I going to miss school? Like it's
you miss school?
I miss school. How can I not? Like every single day, my friends are there. We're having fun. Like no worries in the world. Like, how can you not miss that?
Why would you miss school? You're like, you had no money. You couldn't do whatever you wanted.
But those are the best times, because the second you start to get money, you start to understand a little bit more about the world. You start to worry a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? Not that I worry now, but you understand a lot more about the world. So back then it's like you wake up every day. It's just school, chill with your friends, like have food, enjoy yourself. Like that's all you're thinking
Call
about.
of Duty, talk shit to other people
Duty, Gears
online.
of War every single day. RuneScape.
It's crazy that when we were younger, we were just like banging everyone's mom while playing like Call of Duty and stuff.
Yeah.
You remember those days, dude?
Those lobbies were the most disgusting lobbies
known
to man.
If you grew up in the Modern Warfare 2 lobby era, you have like a thicker skin, I feel like.
I feel like too.
You have to.
I mean, you joined a lobby, and for anyone with headphones, I will give you, turn it down a second, but it was... You remember?
It was just like slur.
Fuck
and you're just
yeah.
like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Everyone was banging my mom on Call of Duty. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I wonder where those people are now.
Those were the best times. But I mean, not that the best times aren't now, because you level up. Do you know what I mean? Like as you get older, I'm 30 now. Totally different place. I've got a little girl. So another one on the way. I mean, I'm blessed right now. I've never been happier than I am now. I can see things clearly. I've got a plan. I'm with people I love. I've took people out of my life that I don't need around me. So I think that's really key. Like I fully understand who I am, what I'm capable of, and where my flaws lie.
I think it's always interesting. You always think like life's going to be better when this happens, when this thing happens, when I start making more money. Like life's going to be so much easier. But like you always either end up wanting more
Yep.
when you have what you thought that was like what you dreamed of. And then also, just as you get older, your responsibilities, your life tasks just like kind of like keep evolving. And then you start remembering back. And like the older you get, the more like closer you realize that you're like death is coming, which is pretty morbid to think about, which is pretty shit, honestly. Can I ask you, dude, obviously we're going to talk about Gymshark. Do you get like bothered when everyone's just like Gymshark, talk about Gymshark? Or are you like, fucking, I've told the story fucking a million times, dude, shut up.
There's more to me than Gymshark. That's the only thing that's a little bit annoying. Everyone wants to hear about Gymshark because yes, it's the most successful thing that I've created. So people are obviously going to want to know about that, and the story that what we created, myself and Ben, is an unbelievable story, and the people we've inspired along the way is also great. But it's just that as I said, there's much more to me and what I've done than just Gymshark and what I'm going to do in the future for sure.
Yeah. What were you like let's go back like before Gymshark. What were you like growing up, and like what were you interested in? Because like eventually I want to get to like, you know, what created you to start this business, but like what was Lewis like before Gymshark?
Right, so I was a bit of a class clown, if I'm honest. Didn't really try at school, didn't understand the kind of importance of school. Used to play a game called RuneScape, which I'm sure a lot of your viewers
Nerds.
probably played.
Christian loves that game.
Christian loves that game, but it teaches you a lot. You're merchanting, you're going into one world, you're buying something like logs from one place, going into another, a busier world, and you're selling to people that have got more money and it's in demand. So it teaches you supply and demand and price and stuff. But at the time, you don't really understand it. You just think, fuck me, it's a game, it's great.
Yeah, well, the game's like, hey, if you're not advanced enough, the dragon's going to kill you.
Of course.
What was that cloak that Christian tried to get forever? There's like some sort.
Fire cape, maybe?
Is that it? That's it's like crazy hard to get.
Not anymore, but it was back then.
Like now for $10 on eBay, you can just buy it and have it transferred to your account.
Yeah, and they've now got an even harder one. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah. But that's what I used to do. All I used to do was play games. I didn't really care about school. And I went to school every day. I had a great family. Like I couldn't sky from school. I was there all the time. I always knew that I was going to do something. I didn't really know what it was. And back in, let's say, 2010, 2011, there was a lot of online forums and a lot of online advertising. So I was in good, I don't know if you ever remember, but I was in really, really good, well, not now, but I was in really good shape back then. I was really lean and I had a lot of followers.
You look great, dude.
I mean,
you've covered your body in tattoos, so now you're never going to get a real job. But especially you went on the hand, dude. You never go on the hand.
No, that's it. But I mean, I was shredded back then.
Were you a sick cunt?
I was sick. I was pretty sick. And those vodkas are going down well. So
this podcast is just going to going downhill.
I'm going to start off
30 seconds in, you're like, what was I talking about?
Yeah, I know. So
you were shredded.
Yeah, I was shredded. And I had a good following on Facebook. And what I used to do was I used to push the following on Facebook. Do you remember when it switched from, you could only have 5,000 friends and then it went over that and it turned into likes on your profile? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember all the different phases of Facebook where it's like you could only, if you were in college or university, you could only be on that, and then it just kept evolving.
Yeah, so I remember we were watching a fight, and then someone must have posted me on some type of forum, maybe the bodybuilding forum. You remember someone with high rep, and then I ended up getting loads of fucking followers in 1 hour.
There's only probably 10 people that are going to listen to this podcast that understand rep power and bodybuilding.com. Okay, let me try to explain this to the people. Okay, there's a website, bodybuilding.com. Forums were the social media back then. Yeah. I was on like Jeep forums, and then I eventually got to the bodybuilding.com. The dark side of my life. Went into the misc, It's a dark side.
You get ripped. You put a transformation in there. You best be looking good because you just get shit on.
Rep power on those forums was essentially like your kill to death ratio in Call of Duty. It was everything. Yep. Everything you did, all that mattered was your rep power. It established your dominance. So you had a lot of rep.
So I had a good amount of rep, and people with rep were posting me. I had a really good transformation. I was shredded. I wasn't heavy. I was like maybe 70 kilo, but I was absolutely diced. And someone posted me on there, and I got loads of followers on Facebook. And because I had loads of followers at the time, I was getting loads of likes and so on. So anyway, I came across this other website called, I think it was called like 9gag, maybe. I think it probably still exists.
That's like it was almost like a meme page.
It was
back
meme.
then,
So like, we've now come back. It's come full circle now, but back then anyway, it was called 9gag. And I was kind of like looking around, how are they making money? Because for some reason they are making money. I didn't know how they were making money. And then I kind of figured out, right, it's from ads. So we copied 9gag. We made a page, used to post like funny pictures.
Who's we?
Funny, like me, another guy called Reese, and actually Ben wasn't involved at this point, just me and this other guy called Reese. We made a website, a single page website, and we used to put Google ads all around. Like we used to be able to click next, simple buttons like you'd press right for the next and so on, or random. Underneath each part, we used to stick a Google ad, so you'd misclick.
You were the fucking guys behind that?
That's what we used to do.
It's like you would download something and then a thing would pop up and it's like, click this to download. And you're like, okay. No, that was
absolutely. But what we would do is we would post like fights on there or funny pictures and people would go on there. They'd want to click next and we'd send like 5,000 people to the website and people were misclicking all the time. We were making 30 grand a month. I was 17. We were making 30 grand a month.
What?
Yeah. Just from Google AdSense.
Bro, you're a different kind of breed because you're 30, right?
30 now.
Okay, 30. I'm 33, so we're kind of in the same era. And you said you were 17?
I was 17 at the time.
See, like maybe it was like, do you think, so I want to, how to like relate this. So me, when I was, let's say 17, 18, I didn't have any inkling in my body. I had no desire to really try to like maneuver unique ways to make money, right? It was just like, oh, I go to my job, then I'm going to go to university, and then I'm going to, get a full-time job. And no one around me was like doing this kind of stuff. What was in you to be like, I think I can like make money in just like unique ways? Because that's not common to try to do that. It's like a certain type of person. Like usually everyone's like, I'm going to follow this direct path. You were like, I think I can make money off this internet thing.
It wasn't like we kind of analyzed it that much. We just did it because it was fun, and we did it because we were curious, and we did it because it was a challenge. It was a challenge to make money online. No one was doing it, so we wanted to do it. We didn't set out to initially just let's make loads of money, but we got so curious. Like it was just fun. It was a game to us. Like how much money can we make?
Yeah, it is a game.
It was a game, but the game if we were good at the game, it meant that we made money. So the more money we made, the better we were getting. And fuck me, at one point we almost got to 70 grand, but we kept getting banned because you wasn't allowed to do that. It was a little bit sinister in terms of where we were placing ads. So for some of the months we would get banned, and then we completely got banned. We completely got address banned. So we couldn't even make a new AdSense account. Oh. So we didn't really, we left with maybe 50 grand.
There's three of you?
Two.
Two of you. Okay. Two. So you're splitting everything down the middle?
Two, yeah. Two. And then I went to university. I ended up dropping out of university, but around that time we were still messing around. So this is when we started to make Gymshark.
Wait, hold on. So did you were making this money before you went to university?
Yes.
Why did you still like, a lot of people start, I'm going to call it college. Okay. It means university. When people start college, university, they usually leave that because they're starting to make a bunch of money, whatever. You were making a bunch of money, but then still decided to go. Why was that?
Just because.
You think it wasn't going to last, or?
No, maybe, no, not really, because a lot of my friends went, and I stayed to a close university. I ended up getting like the grants because they were free. So I thought to myself, like, why am I going to go to work when I can go to the university? I can get a 10 grand grant. I can pass the course more than likely easy, come out with a degree, because I mean, why not? I didn't want to sit at home and do nothing. So I kind of stayed in education just in case, because I'd done such a shit job at school. I thought, well, I need to come out with something just in case. But that wasn't really my plan, to be fair, because a year in, I ended up quitting. So within this time of university, we started Gymshark supplements. People don't actually know that Gymshark was a supplement company first. And we started that around the same time as we started all this ad stuff. And we started another company called Two Toned, which was like Simply Shredded. It was a foreign-based company, again, with ads. And we used to post we used to interview people on there, and we'd post all their workouts, all their shredded workouts, like Ziz stuff and so on. We used to get loads of traffic. Yeah, we used to get loads of traffic. And
let me ask you a comment you made. You said when you were younger, kind of like you knew you were destined for more. Like you knew like you were going to make something of yourself.
Yep.
I get when people say that, and I feel like that was me as a kid. Like I had these dreams of like, it's kind of like weird to say, but you're like, I know I'm special. Like I know I have something in me that I can do more in life than the traditional path. How do you think, like, what is that mentality? Like what do you think was it that made you think that you could do more in life rather than be like, I'm going to follow the path that, I don't know, your parents, maybe your parents went the traditional route.
No, so my dad was a builder, and my mum was just a childminder. I had a normal upbringing.
Childminder.
So she used to
is that a stay-at-home mom?
No, she used to look after other kids at our house.
Okay, like a nanny, a babysitter.
Like a nanny,
yeah.
Like kind of like a commercial nanny. And so she would do that. So no one in my family ever went to university. No one ever thought outside the box. That's why I kind of don't like it when people, at the end of the day, you can do whatever you want to do. Like, you don't need to follow the traditions of your family. You don't need to follow the traditions of people, even your friends. Like, if you really want to make something of yourself, then it's only you that's ever going to do it, because no one's going to come and save you. No one's going to give you free money. No one's going to give you free advice. You need to go out there and you need to find it yourself. And that was the mentality I had. And I kind of then inspired like a close circle of friends. And we were really competitive, and we would stay up all night, every single night, and we would be addicted to trying to find new ways to make money on the internet. It was just an addiction. Like it's like a gym addiction, but we was addicted to trying to find ways on the internet to make money. It's a great addiction, I suppose, but that's where we fell.
I feel like you had this like earlier, like it was like, even when I started YouTube, it took me a couple years to be like, oh, I can make some serious money from this, because I just did it out of the passion. But like, you were just already mentally like kind of ahead of the curve, and maybe things were maybe I'm just comparing it to my timeline. 3 years prior, so technology had a little advanced by the time like you're my age. When I was your age, I'm hammered right now.
Those shots are hitting.
I know. This is what 2015 was like, man.
Yeah.
Sheesh. Or 14, whatever it was, dude. But I think that's super interesting of like the mentality of like, hey, this is something, and it's like it almost was like you fished a little bit, and you caught a little baby fish, and you're like, I bet there's fucking bigger fish in here, dude. And that was like the internet and making money, and you really capitalized on it.
So true, yeah.
And what so you started a supplement? Why supplements first? Did that just make sense?
Because we were into the gym, and obviously everyone at the time wanted supplements. Like clothing, it was a secondary thought. Now clothing's more of a let's look good first and maybe take a supplement after. Whereas back then, there was only a couple of supplement companies that were really big. Bodybuilding.com was massive. Optimum Nutrition, they were all selling on there. You had something called Jack 3D. Do you remember that?
Jack 3D, the 1,3-dimethylene, baby.
Yeah,
that was the good stuff.
Which got banned. Yeah, that was fucking. I never really took pre-workout, to be fair, but I tried that once and I was tripping balls.
No, you would.
I was tripping balls.
It was like the white container or whatever we'll put on the screen here, but it was like, with like all the labeling. Did you call it Jacked or Jack 3D?
We used to just call it Jack 3D. Jacked 3D, even though it is Jack 3D.
It's Jack 3D, but I think I called it Jacked 3D.
Jacked 3D because you were pumped off it.
It's crazy. Did people like die? Like, why did they ban it?
I don't know. I think
you were becoming too strong and too sick of a guy.
It was too good. Yeah,
it was too sick of a pre-workout.
Yeah, it probably had some suspect substances. I'd imagine it must have. But we started supplements because of that reason. We wanted creatine, we wanted protein, we wanted pre-workout, but we didn't really know what we were doing with it. So we kind of went on a place called Bulk Powders. We bought loads of supplements.
I remember that.
And we thought we were so fucking stupid. We thought we could just mix loads of different supplements, create our own supplement. That's obviously not what happened. So we'd get like whey protein, creatine, caffeine, everything you can imagine. We'd just mix it up into one container and we'd bottle it up. And we'd
Are you tired of drinking pre-workout, then having your post-workout nutrition?
Have it in one hit.
Have it in one hit.
Yeah. So we gave it to our friend and he was like, nah, this ain't right. This is horrible. And it was horrible, to be fair.
Let me ask you, for the supplements, did you have the same mentality when starting Gymshark supplements of the, I just want to make money? Or were you like, hey, let's take this seriously? Or were you just like, let's do anything we can to make fast money?
Let's do anything we can. And let's see what sticks, basically. We had three or four things going. This wasn't our main source of income. We didn't really care about it. So we were just messing around because it was fun. Like doing something that you're interested in was fun. I.e. making supplements ourselves was fun because we were going to take them every single day. But we realised quite shortly, look, one, if we wanted to make our own supplements, we'd need a lot more money. So we started drop shipping. So there's a place called Tropicana Fitness, which was like a wholesale website. You had to create an account, log in, but you got supplements for 20% cheaper. So what we did is we hosted every single product that they had on their website and we put it on our website. But back then, Google wasn't very big. Google Shopping wasn't very big. It was so easy to manipulate with Shopify to get top of Google Shopping. All you had to do was create create a collection and name the collection whatever you wanted it to be, and you'd be top of Google Shopping in one hit. And you didn't have to do nothing, no paid ads, nothing. You were top. So if someone searched optimum nutrition, whey protein, or pre-workout, we were top. So you would click on that, we would order it, you would order it from us, we would order it straight from Tropicana Fitness straight to your door. So we had enough, we weren't holding any inventory. We were making probably like, I don't know, $1,000 a week.
How were you so smart back then, bro?
It was an accident. It's not like we knew what we were doing. We just kept messing around and things were working. And obviously once it's worked, it's like, okay, well, let's keep doing it. And that's what we were doing.
What did your parents think when you were like telling them about, let's say before you exited university?
Yeah.
What were your parents thinking I don't know how close you are with your parents, but like, were you like, Mom, I'm fucking making money on the internet doing random stuff? Were they super supportive? Like, but this is like before you quit. I want to talk about before you quit university.
Yeah. My mom was loving it. She was very supportive always. And when we get onto more of the Gymshark story or whatever, I'll tell you more about it. But she was very supportive. I was doing loads of things. I was doing sinister cam shows, you name it. I was tense. I was tensing. I was making money.
Wait. Hold on. You said you were doing cam shows?
I was doing cam shows at the time too. So
like you were managing people, or you were doing them?
I was doing them. So I was.
Wait, I forgot. You would like flex on cameras.
Yeah, so I used to.
It was like the OnlyFans. It was like the OnlyFans for shredded guys.
So I was getting paid £100 for 20 minutes of my time. Bearing in mind I'm 17.
I forgot about that.
And all I had to do was tense my biceps, tense my abs on camera for some person. Absolutely fine by me. There's no problem. I'll do that for £100. So that's what I'm saying. So that was OnlyFans back then without being called OnlyFans. It was like a paid Patreon. So
I forgot about that.
I was pimping myself out.
Bro, the cam shows. Oh my God. Damn, you just unlocked something in my memory, bro.
That's crazy.
So you were just like, I'm doing anything I can.
I was doing anything at the time to make money.
So did you have any traditional jobs?
Yeah. So I also worked at the time as a pot wash at a local...
Pot wash?
So
all the lingo guys, we're going to have full translations now.
So people...
Dishwasher.
Dishwasher, basically. People would eat at a restaurant and I would get handed the plate and I was the person. I was getting paid like $3.94 an hour or $4.94 an hour, something like that. It was minimum wage. And I had two jobs, and I used to work on a Saturday morning at Burton's Menswear, which was just a menswear clothing company in England. It's quite big.
Okay. And when did you quit that job
So I quit that when we were a little bit further into Gymshark because, I had a little bit of time. I didn't want to quit. I was all about money. Whatever it took to make money, I was about it. So.
Yeah. Hold on, scoot a little bit more towards, I want to hear your voice.
Yeah.
Super. Oh, fuck yeah. That is so sick. Okay. So you quit that job, and did you quit before university?
No.
So you were like,
I was doing everything. I was here, there, and everywhere.
So even though you're like, I'm making so much money on the internet, and it's way more than my, what'd you call it, pot washer?
Pot washing, yeah.
Pot washing job. You're like, why would I give up that too if I can manage all of it? I'm gonna make the $5 over here and make this. So you were just entrepreneur, grinder, hustler, university 24/7, day one.
Basically, it was probably silly of me looking back to have worked those jobs because I didn't need to, but I was. Like at the time, I didn't see it like that. I just saw it was easy money, so I did it. I wasn't probably going to be doing anything else. Yeah, granted, I could have probably done a little bit more research, maybe made a little bit more money, but it was just like a part of my life that I just carried on doing. So it was just I didn't leave.
That was kind of like I did YouTube and social media for 3 years while working my corporate job, and I remember it was probably about a year in. Was when I started meeting like Christian and everything. And I remember for the longest time, he kept being like, quit your job. And I was like, yeah, but like I can do everything and do this job on this. Like now the job's on the side, even though it takes up most of my day, but I can still make all this money. Why am I going to give up 35 grand a year or something? I was like, I can manage all of it. I don't want to give up that money, even though then you start learning about opportunity costs and like what you're missing out by trying to make these pennies, in comparison to what you're doing.
It's only easy to look back in hindsight though and realize when the right time is for you. Do you know what I mean? It's hard. There is no right or wrong time, but obviously, as I said, hindsight is a wonderful thing, and you know that you maybe should have left earlier. It's like when you employ staff. One thing I wish I did was employ staff earlier, but I also don't like thinking about that because I did it when I did it, and I was right at the time. It was right for me when I did that. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, they say hindsight's 20/20.
Absolutely, and it's true.
Yeah.
So true.
And so when you left university, what was happening in your life the moment, like what went through your brain to be like, I'm fucking out?
So we took Gymshark basically took off. So we started. Let me go back how it actually took off. So we were a supplement company called Gymshark Supplements. If anyone's got something called Wayback Machine, you can go on waybackmachine.co.uk.
Wait, hold on. Do you think there's anyone out there that still has a tub of Gymshark protein?
No, because we never actually ripped Gymshark on it. It was always other people's.
Oh, it
remember
was just
we
like
were drop shipping.
Okay.
So the way Gymshark came about is because we started selling Gold's Gym. So Ziz was a massive part of the success originally of Gymshark. So he was wearing all the stringers, the small shorts, 2 Aero shorts. Do you remember them?
Yeah,
from Australia.
dude.
So what we did is we bought loads of those in. We bought stringer vests from America, and we started selling them in Europe.
So you were just a drop shipping company. You're just like the parent company that sells other people's shit.
No, not with clothing. We didn't drop ship clothing. We bought everything in bulk. We had accounts with 2 Aeros. We bought it all in because you have to remember back in 2011, 2012, if you wanted to order from America or Australia, you were paying like $100 shipping. The product was only $20. No one was going to pay $120 for a vest. That just didn't happen. So we ordered maybe like, I don't know, 50 vests, 50 2 Aero shorts, got a discount and paid for the shipping. So we had them in our warehouse and we just put them online. And everyone wanted them. They were shit hot. It was like, I don't know. It's like when a new game comes out, everyone's lining up at Blockbuster. Everyone wants the game. And that was like what it was like when we restocked our vests and our shorts. Everyone wanted to look like this, to be this, to feel like him, everything about his persona. So we kind of capitalized on his look and we started selling on our company, which was called Gymshark Supplements. Sold well. We then thought, okay, so if we're making a little bit of margin because we're buying it from someone else, let's sell our own Gymshark clothing. So we ended up making the Shark. And then from there, we started selling our own clothing. The clothing sold better. So we fucked off supplements. And then we brought in just clothing. We turned our domain to just gymshark.co.uk. And then later on, we bought gymshark.com.
So now we are going to dive into you starting a $1 million $1 billion brand, Gymshark, ladies and gentlemen. And the first question I have, where did the name come from? Because you could have chosen any animal, zebra, gorilla, dog, dog, gym dog, gym zebra, zebra.
Gym zebra, gym rhino. But there was actually a gym rhino. Someone tried to copy us. There was all
gym rhino.
Once we started, people started bringing out all sorts. Gym rhino,
bro,
gym hippo,
I'm not even
gym sharp with a P.
Gym porpoise, dude. You literally, and it's funny because, obviously Christian has Alpha Elite, which is the wolf, right? But I remember when it was started, I was like, at the time when y'all were the first person to put this like animal as a representation, as the mascot of the brand, right? Powerful shark.
Do you know what we did? The powerful shark.
Tell me.
So do you ever remember Pitbull clothing and Gold's Gym? So Pitbull clothing was a hench dog. And then there was Gold's Gym with the big bodybuilder. Back then, that was what people wanted to see. So we made a shark that was tensing because it was really easy to recognize.
There had to been another animal you went to. You went straight to shark?
Yeah, we went straight to shark. And I think we were just using, random brand name generators. And we wanted Gym because it was just relevant at the time. And then we ended up with shark. And then we got someone on like Fiverr to make a logo. Like, probably paid him about $20.
Do you think, do you ever think back to like people who, I always listen to there's like the story of like I think it was like a lady who, she made the Nike swoosh and it was like $50.
Yeah.
And I think later they ended up like many years later writing her a big check as like, whatever. But isn't it crazy to think of like a graphic designer does a job like for pennies, in relation to what the brand does? And like, do you think they're ever like, I did that. That was my logo.
Probably. But at the end of the day,
like that's your job.
Yes, you created a logo, and how many logos do you create around the world, and they never ever see the light of day or become anything because the people behind the brand don't take it to a new level. It's like suppliers in China. How many of these suppliers get reached out to by companies? They make one batch of clothing and then never ever contact them again, or they don't go anywhere. But think about our suppliers. Then we had suppliers that we reached out to on, like, let's say Alibaba, for example, and before you know it, we're putting 10, 20, $30 million a year through people on Alibaba. They couldn't imagine being the factory owner. He couldn't believe his luck. Phoning us up every day, like asking for forecasts. Obviously, we were young. We didn't have fucking forecasts. Didn't have a clue what forecasting was. We were just ordering clothing in. It was selling out so fast. We were reinvesting our money, and by the time we got it back in, it was 6 months down the line. People were waiting around for our clothing, but it also helped us because things were selling out so fast that everyone wanted a piece of the Gymshark clothing, but they could not get it because it was sold out, and it weren't sold out for a reason. It was sold out because we had no fucking cash.
Yeah.
And we couldn't get it in.
Let me ask you, the most common question that I get that when when expos were a big, isn't it great? Like literally, the Vid stopped like all expos from like, it was like Expo World was going crazy, and then the pandemic happened, and then now it's like expos, fuck that. The most common question I get from, well, I guess now it's all about sour strips, but forever forward was always like, I'm thinking about starting a clothing company. Like, how do I find a manufacturer? Which obviously I'm like, have you tried Googling gym clothing? But back in the day, what year did Gymshark start?
So we officially started, we went limited in 2012.
Okay, I was like, what?
2012, but we started in 2011 as a partnership.
Okay. Now, how did you find out, and hopefully everyone that has ever asked me, how do I find a manufacturer? How did, because I looked at you and, your team as like the pioneer of the fitness era of starting these clothing brands. How did you find how to make this clothing? Because, and I'm talking after the screen printing. I know you screen printed, you hustled for a long time, but when you were like, I'm ready to go overseas to lower cost, to improve quality, improve the cut to sew. How did you, before it was so common, figure this out? Because even today, I get asked this question that I'm like, Lewis, before the internet was barely popping, and he's like figuring out this stuff, and now it should be even easier. But how did you go about that?
Google. Simple. Like anything you want to know in the world, literally anything you want the answer to, just Google it. And then once you start Googling, you'll find some answers that are right, some answers that are wrong. Now you're on the journey. Now you started looking, and then you'll go down a rabbit hole and you'll start to find different websites. And then, Alibaba's an extremely common one. And you'll start to look out, start messaging people, get samples, recognize like some people are good at communication, some people aren't. Google is everything. That's all we did. We Googled our whole entire business journey.
People don't know. It's like how to find a clothing manufacturer. Google. How to get more confidence with girls. Google. How to get a bigger penis. Google. All of the information is right there. Easy peasy.
Okay, like your podcast setup, what did you do? Watch a few YouTube videos?
No, I'm just super smart and I know everything.
No chance.
No, and I think the point I always try to get at when people are asking about manufacturers, how do I do this? Let me know if you agree with this. Sometimes I feel like...
I know what you're going to say.
He's a wizard. Sometimes I feel like if people can't even get past the first question, because business is just problem solving. Mm-hmm. If you can't even figure out how to start a business and you need the mentorship of someone of how to find the most basic first step to even start, is that the right path for you? Is this the right business? And it's, some people are more unique and they maybe needed this step, but sometimes I'm like, how are you going to start a clothing company if you haven't even spent, because in 5 minutes, if you typed how to start a clothing company, how to find a overseas manufacturer for gym clothing, you would find it.
It's disrespectful. When people message you and ask those simple things, it is disrespectful for everything that you've put in and all of the company owners out there, because I know what I went through and how many years that I had to learn things when no one would help me. If you get help at an early stage like that, you're never going to make it. Like, it's really not worth it. I understand that people need encouragement, but if you can't be bothered, as you just said, to even Google something yourself, you don't deserve to be in business. And that's the cutthroat part, because business is fucking hard. You know that. Business is really hard, and there's no one going to be there to help you through it. So you need to just do everything yourself. Honestly, Google and YouTube are the best, and I mean the best.
Especially nowadays.
Now.
If you can't find the answer, like now, then you're pioneering shit.
If the answer's not online, then it's probably not possible. Whatever you're trying to do is probably either a shit idea, or it just doesn't exist, because all companies today, all they do is copy each other and respin it off. Like, we didn't do anything special. We just created a clothing company. What clothing's been around forever. Yeah. You know what I mean? We just branded it in a certain way. We found a niche. We worked fucking harder than anyone else, and we made product that we loved, and we made a product that would last. And everyone would tell their friends how good it fitted, how good the quality was, and that was how we made our company.
Let me ask you, you started your business by just Googling. So you're telling me that you didn't need any sort of masterminds or to spend thousands and thousands of dollars for other people to tell you to follow your dreams?
Well, I don't want to say no, but no. We didn't. I've never had a mentor. I'm sure no. anything we've done, we've discussed between us, we've found what works, trial and error. We've lost a lot of money, trial and error. We've launched some things that were shit. We've done some things that we maybe shouldn't have done. We've gone wrong routes, but that's how you learn. And
I think people like, they want to ask questions. So like, I want to learn, like there's a difference of, hey, I want to teach you some things so you don't make the same mistakes.
Yeah.
But I think people, they take that as like, oh, if I do all of this preparation before just jumping in the deep end, then I'll make no mistakes my entire trajectory of life in my business. But it's like, you got to.
If you're not making mistakes, you're definitely not pushing the boundaries. You're definitely not trying to learn, because you learn the most from mistakes. And mistakes are absolutely fine. They're a necessity. You need to make mistakes to learn what you're doing wrong and which direction you're actually going in. Because if you're not making mistakes, then all right, okay, then have you tried another thing? You know what I mean? Like if I just did the same thing every single day, it's like being in the gym. You just do the same weight. You're not going to grow. You need to keep pushing. You need to do heavier weight, less reps, change it up. Like the body's smart and people are smart. People don't fall for the same trick twice. And that's the same with a company. Like things get stale, people get bored. You need to keep changing things.
How much money do you think over the time that you were with Gymshark, how much money do you think you wasted or spent on mistakes?
Mainly with stock.
Yeah.
Stock's would be the biggest issue. Ordering things that, your customer doesn't necessarily like, or you've ordered too much of it. Like if you're trying a new color combination or you're trying a new style that you've probably never tried before, then you don't really need to go heavy on it. Especially now, you're just trying a little batch, and if it sells out, then fine, because stock is the biggest killer to an e-commerce business. If you're overstocked, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Because do you know why? Because you have to run sales, and what happens to sales? It's like a disease. Running a sale is like a disease. You can't get rid of it, and once you start, it's really hard to stop because your sales go up, your gross margin goes down, your profit margin goes down. It's a hard path to get off. That's the problem when you're overstocked. And if you're understocked, then what happens? You can't grow. You can't grow as a business. So getting stock right is really, really important. It's extremely hard. I'd say it's the lungs of the business. You need to get it right.
Yeah, I mean, but you learn that over time. I think people, especially with any business, but specifically clothing, which is a very difficult task to maintain inventory on. Again, people are like, well, like, yeah, I don't want to start yet because I need to answer all the questions because I don't want to lose any money. But it's like y'all have lost probably millions of dollars, millions and millions on, oh, we shouldn't have done that. We did this too much. We did this too little. We missed out on this. This was wrong timing. Yeah. And it's like even the big companies, I think it's important for people to hear about all of the mistakes that people have made because they look at you or any of these super iconic people who have built these like legacy brands and they think that everything just went right for them from day one.
No
like this
way.
Perfect trajectory. That
Well,
was
you know yourself from your company, my story, like behind the scenes, like what the things that have gone on, like no one's story is easy. If someone is telling you that it's easy or they've never had any issues in their life, then they're fucking lying and they're not one to be listening to and they're not one to trust.
Liar.
They're lying.
Wanker.
Everyone has issues in their business. Everyone has issues in their personal life. Everyone has problems. That is how the world works. If you haven't, then I don't believe it. I really don't believe it. And there's a lot of people online, trying to take your money. Like just Google and YouTube, listen to smart people and just do what they do. There's no quick route to success. That's the thing, with crypto. Well, I've seen you on the stuff. I've seen you messing around on stock market.
I like to lose money too, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But the problem
we
is...
were AMC boys.
Yeah, we mess around. But the difference is like, I know that things are a gamble. Like people are trying to throw their whole entire money. Like I'm messing with like 0.00001% of my net worth. People are gambling all their savings on AMC. It's fucking it's stupid.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. There's no quick win in life. And if there is a quick win, then you need to be seriously worried. It's an addiction. You might win once. You might triple, 3 times extra money once. But what's going to happen? It's like a casino. You keep gambling and the house always wins.
Lewis you're like bouncing back and forth.
I know,
it's going to be like the audio's like,
No, the audio will be good.
So let me ask you, dude. So when you started Gymshark, obviously, I'd like to say that you pioneered the whole influencer marketing thing. Why was your strategy to leverage other people rather than just trying to be the sickest cunt yourself and leverage your why did you not
I'll tell you why, and this is the only reason, because we wanted to make a business that was sellable. And if we were the face of the company, then you couldn't sell the business.
I wouldn't buy shit from you. With that
That's what I'm
face.
saying. And if we wanted to exit the business at a later stage, if we were the face of the company, it'd be very, very, very hard.
You had that mentality,
Yeah.
like day one.
Yeah. That was we didn't want to be in the limelight because
You're a different breed, bro.
maybe, but by accident.
What's in the water in the UK, bro?
The thing is, as well, from where we're from Bromsgrove, which is a little town outside of Birmingham, there's been a lot of entrepreneurs there. Lounge were founded there. You got obviously Aybl Group
Loungewear, the underwear company.
There's some big businesses that have been founded out of there because once you see someone close to you that can create something from nothing, then you almost believe that you believe that you can do it because when you look at people on social media, or you look at athletes online, you almost think, what the hell, how have they got to the stage? But when you see it or you feel it or you know the person, like you understand that all it is hard work, determination. Like you really want to make something of yourself. And when you see that someone close to you's done it, then you feel like you can do it.
Yeah, I tell that to people all the time of like, similar to the Googling all your answers are there. I'm like, if someone else, if you're ever like, I just can't figure this thing out. If you're like, unless you're pioneering something, which is probably rare, if someone else has done it, you can do it too. If someone else has figured out how to do it, you can do it too. It may be a little bit more difficult than something else, but like, it has someone else done what you're attempting to do and you're maybe putting your spin on it. Yes, you can do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So y'all out of the gate, we're like, we're going to use other athletes.
Yep. And do you know who we watching? Matt August. So Matt August was one of the guys that kind of pioneered the whole entire vlog, in my opinion, for bodybuilders. Because most companies were they were getting people that won competitions, but people that won competitions didn't really have a great following. They just won competitions. Where you had someone like Matt August, he had like 30,000 views every single video, 90k subs, 30,000 views a video, like a 1-to-3 ratio. That's outrageous.
Yeah.
And we were like, hey, if 30,000 people are watching his content every single day, then why don't we send him clothing? And if we bring him over to the UK, then most people are going to only have one opportunity in their lifetime probably, because most people don't leave America. They only travel interstate. So if we brought him over from England to Body Power, then everyone is going to want to come and see him that follows him.
So you went to YouTube first. You were like,
Straight to YouTube.
So you saw the power in YouTube.
Yeah.
Because it was new. It was very new back then.
Yeah, but I was doing YouTube at the time. I was doing YouTube at the time too. Like I was just doing little shitty videos and tensing and getting like 100k views, which is just mad. Like in today's term, probably like 10 mil.
Tell me what, I'm sure it was probably a collective. Who was was it Matt or like Lex Griffin? Who was the first person you contacted to like be like, we want to send you stuff and be an athlete?
So it was almost similar. It was almost at the same time. It was either Lex, Alan Gabby, or Matt August. It was one of those three that was first, and I contacted them on Facebook.
Can I ask you, like, what did you say to them? Like, how did you, like, I got a brand, you look cool in my brand, do you want to come on my brand?
Probably something shit like that.
Did you type it?
Yeah, so it's on Facebook. So I would probably, I wish you'd have told me before, because I could pull the messages up.
Pull the message, we'll put it on the screen. You got it?
I will be able to send it to you, and we'll put it on the screen. So I'll be able to, because it would be on Facebook. I would have reached out to them on Facebook because I had a big following. So some of the messages that we reached out to them and said, it would be interesting to see. So that would be quite cool. But they would have been shitty messages. But at the time, they would have been really happy. We were paying them nothing. We were sending them clothing. We were paying them nothing. We brought them over to the UK. Obviously, we paid for all those expenses. But you know how much influencers now charge. If we've tried to do that now, you'd be looking like 10, 20 grand to bring them over.
Then you were like, I'll give you 4 T-shirts. Sick.
Yeah, sick. Like everyone was buzzing.
Did you have a cool like phrase where you're like, do you want to swim with the sharks? The Gymsharks?
No, it was just, do you want to come to the UK and just be fucking hounded by all the sick cunts, basically?
Bro, so...
I'll never forget, listen to this, right?
All right.
The first ever Body Power we did, we opened the gates. On a Friday, they told us, it's a trade show. There's not going to be many people here. I said, okay. We're still setting up the store. We're stressed out ahead. I was ill. I was really ill, actually. And I was still going. I thought, no, I can't let anyone down here. Dan will confirm it. I looked like shit. I was fucking sneezing and coughing and everything. Anyway, hits 9 a.m. or whatever. They open the doors. Fucking like a zombie apocalypse. They told us it wasn't even going to be busy. Bosh, all the rails knocked over. The whole stand nearly got flattened. flood of people. Everyone ran in. Everyone came straight to Gymshark. There was no one else around looking at anyone else's store.
Were you surprised?
Massively. We were completely surprised. We didn't know what to expect, but fuck me, I didn't expect that. Not on the Friday. And on Saturday, it was even worse. We couldn't even sell. We were giving bum bags, to, like little fanny pack things, full of cash to people we didn't even know because we could not hold on to the stock. We couldn't. There was lines, like 2,000 people probably in a line. We couldn't even give the stuff out. So we were giving like random cash stuff to people. Take sales, take sales.
You were just giving money to people?
Basically, yeah. Like people we knew of, we kind of like knew people that were there and we knew like their friends of friends and we trusted people with bum bags full of cash. Everyone was walking around taking sales, trying to please everyone and help everyone. It was fucking, you wouldn't do that now. It was just crazy, but we had so much trust in people. It was just ridiculous, really. We would rather have lost money than not service the staff. That was the mentality we had. We wanted everyone to get, and I think by the Sunday, we'd sold out of everything.
What athletes did you have at the first Body Power?
So first Body Power, we had Lex Griffin, Alan Gabai. We had Jeff Side. He was popping at the time. We had Chris Lovato. Who else, Dan? Matt Ogus, Dan Blackwell, Ash Grant.
I remember most of these people.
Yeah, I think that was it.
I have a serious question to ask you.
Go on.
And this is something that I've buried deep inside of me since the day we met. Because I, if you didn't know, am a fitness influencer from around the same era. I started 1 year after the great Christian Guzman. Not once did Gymshark ask me to be an athlete. And I want to know, because I have to know that you knew who I was. You had to be, I was in the fitness community. I was making challenges with Matt Ogus. Matt Ogus was talking about me in his videos. We were deadlifting competitions. We were doing it. Why did you never ask me to be on Gymshark?
Do you know what?
I need to fucking know, bro.
Maybe because you weren't lean enough. No, I don't know.
I was shredded.
No, I don't know, to be fair. I don't. What?
You sent me clothes one time. I'm gonna put a picture on the screen.
Who messaged you?
I don't know at the time. Right. I have a picture. Y'all sent me. When I got that package, bro, first of all, you sent me your tracksuit and I was like, this is tiny. I was like, it is so small on me. But
small on you?
Yeah.
No
I was
way.
160 pounds.
No
way. I was like skin tight on my legs. But I remember, I'm going to put the picture on the screen of me I have a picture on Instagram when I was like, thanks Gymshark for sending me this package. And when y'all sent me the package, I was like, because again, this was like early. This was like 2013, 2012. Okay, yeah. And I was like,
must have been
this is my path. I'm gonna get on Gymshark. Because they sent me a package. You sent me a package. Then you never, ever contacted me again. You never asked me to be on Gymshark. I saw everyone else being on Gymshark, and I was like, why not me?
We've only got a certain amount of budget. That's what I mean. But
you knew I was going to be expensive. That's what it was.
Absolutely. But you see the feeling that you're trying to describe, how much you wanted to be a part of Gymshark. We did our job. That's what we wanted to create. We wanted to create the Power Rangers. Like everyone wanted to be an athlete, and that's why we blew up so quick. It was It was so fucking simple to us what we were trying to do. Looking back now, it was obviously genius, but at the time to us, it was just like it was almost easy because that's what we wanted to do, and everyone that we watched on YouTube, we sent packages to, and because no one else was doing it, it was kind of simple. Now, much harder because the competition you have to pay. You can't just send stuff to someone for free. They're not. Why are they going to give
clothing?
You? Look how many clothing brands there are. They want to charge you $2-3 for a lot of people. That's what I would suggest now. Like, focus on a niche and fucking work harder than anyone else, and make sure that your product is as good as it can be. And I don't mean like you've tried it on, you think it's good. Like, you need to give it to everyone. Whoever you give it to, it needs to be better than anything that they've got in their wardrobe. Because this is what we thought. We want you to wake up every single day and look in your wardrobe. And we want you to pick Gymshark every single time. Otherwise, what's the point? And if we could do that, then that meant that you would be wearing Gymshark every single day of your life in every single video. And that's the best selling point. That was the goal. And that's what we did.
It's wild seeing the evolution of the persona of the people that represent the brand. Because obviously in the earlier stages, it was like, be the most shredded guy. And do you remember, I believe it was during one of the Expo seasons, and it was Chris Lovato, Matt Ogus, Jeff Side. There was a video, I think Matt posted it, and they were in the hotel room and they would go around and knock on, you know what I'm talking about? They would knock on random people's door at the hotel. And when they opened it, they would all be in their underwear and they would be flexing for the random person. And even back then I was like, what the fuck is this? And it's like, and I feel like the brand image is like cleaned up a lot. But back then y'all were probably like, that's a sick idea, dude. Is that Gymshark underwear when you're flexing out there? That's sick.
Yeah. So, do you know, he was actually, Matt Ogre, so actually he was unbelievably funny. Like,
oh yeah.
Accidentally funny. He would probably come up with some of that stuff. I remember quite a lot of it, to be fair. I was filming. Do you remember that picture we took that was like the iconic picture with everyone in there, someone with their hood up? It was me with the hood up in the middle, everyone else tensing. Like, it was just iconic. And I mean, looking back, obviously it was great. We didn't expect it to be like that. We were just fucking having fun, to be honest. Could you get away with it now? Probably not.
Yeah.
You couldn't. It was just the era. It was a little bit of luck, a little bit of hard work, determination, and everything rolled into one.
It's interesting seeing all the evolution of like the athletes. And you know, Matt Ogus, we keep bringing him up because he's one of the greats.
The OG.
Yeah, he really is. We've exchanged some DMs and we've obviously we go way back together. He hasn't gotten back to me too much on Instagram, but I need to get him on this podcast because
please do.
Because he got me into so much, like with 531, Jim Windler, powerlifting. I mean, I'd watch every single video. Why do you think, how do I word this? A lot of the athletes that you guys had a lot of them have gone on to do great things. Why do you think some people who got into working with some of these big brands have really, really capitalized on it and some have kind of like fallen off?
It's a tricky.
And I say fallen off, but like I feel like people didn't
I
maximize.
Understand, of course, because they were massive back then. They're not very big now. It's just some people have a certain work ethic, and some people lose patience, or they lose love for an industry. And I believe that probably lost love for the industry because you know how hard dieting is and doing things every single day, especially with bodybuilding, especially when you're doing shows and stuff. Like, it's a real strain on your mental health. And anyone that's really been in a deep diet will understand what I'm talking about here in terms of your mental health. Like, it's hard. All you think about is food. You can't even hold a conversation. Yeah. And I think that really does affect people. And, I'd just say like he was some people, I don't know. It's a hard one because I'm answering on behalf of people. So I can't really answer the question if I'm honest. I'm just talking vodka.
Yeah, I'm talking vodka. Well, I mean, I guess the easier way to put it would be like, you look at everyone and then you look at, let's just take Christian, for example. Christian has gone on to do like crazy, amazing things. And, he started with Gymshark. He was given this platform. Obviously he had his own following, whatever, but Gymshark, like with any brand, I think the hopes that people work with companies is that it helps propel them into stardom or just, skyrockets their followings, or it helps them gain a success. And some people take that and grow with it even more. And Christian is someone who has, done that tenfold, right? While a lot of other people have not. And like,
I think the answer is simple. Not everyone can be great.
You're great.
But not everyone can be great. If everyone was great, then you'd have no one would have a business.
Yeah.
Not everyone can be super, super, super successful. Not everyone can have the same mindset. It just doesn't work. Everyone's different. And success means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Just because Matt Ogus dropped off doesn't mean he's any happier now than
I wasn't trying to compare this to Matt Ogus.
I know you're not. I'm just saying Matt Ogus, for example, he might be now happier than he's ever been. At the end of the day, success is all about happiness. The happier you are, the more successful you are. It's not like a monetary thing. And some people just don't want to take it to the next level. And I think it's all about goal setting too. Like Christian, for example, like he always wanted to do his own thing. And like he saw what we were doing at Gymshark and just how he should. They're making shitloads of money. So why am I going to associate myself with them now and not go and do my own thing, which I loved. That's what I would do. I would have done exactly him. And that's what smart people do. They go and make their own thing because you can never be cancelled if you make your own company.
What was the time frame? Because Christian I'm assuming was one of your
2015
your main stars.
2015. Right? No, but he was up and coming at the time. He wasn't very big. You have to remember that. Like he only had how many subs, Dan? 20, 30,000. Wasn't very big. He was small in comparison. But he was grinding his YouTube, and he left quite early on. Like,
let me ask you, when Christian came, I don't know if it was you or your partner at the time, of like, hey guys, like I want to start a direct competitor to it. Really,
well,
I mean,
we allowed him. If you remember, maybe no, not you wouldn't know, but we allowed our athletes to bring their own clothing to our events. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So we let them sell their own t-shirts. So like,
who does that?
LOA. No one does that. But the way I see things is, you're going to do it anyway. So why burn bridges? Like, that's the way I looked at it. And I think that that's why I'm still in contact with a lot of people, is because I didn't want to burn the bridge. You're going to do it anyway. So why not just bring it? There's enough room in the industry. And it also creates competition. The second you create competition, you've got to get better. Otherwise, you're going to get stepped on. So it made us level up our game. So we said to Christian and other people, bring your own clothing. Start selling your CG Fitness t-shirts. Like, bigger you become, the bigger we become, because bigger the industry, the more we can sell.
Do you think, like, so back then, and it's not like Gymshark was the only clothing company around, right? But you guys were dominating at the time. When you were having like so much early on success, like out of the gate with the influencer marketing, with all that, you know, the expos, whatever, and then you started seeing other brands pop up emulating what you were doing, whether or not they're using another animal, you know, to kind of go on that path, but just creating something where it's more of like, oh, there's nothing to worry about. Oh, wait, this company is like actually starting to do really well, and it's starting to become a competition. What like shifted in your brain when there was a lot more popping up that you're like, we need to step our game up? And like, what was that thing?
So people, when you start, we had to step our game up when people tried to take our athletes. Obviously, some of our athletes left to do their own thing. People wanted to pay our athletes, which meant we had to pay our athletes, which meant that we had to create more value, do more expos, make people want to be a part of Gymshark even more. And that came through clothing, better events, like better videos and so on. So there was no one thing. I mean, it's always going to happen. If you, in any industry, if you're the first person, you're making loads of money, people are smart. They'll see that, and then they'll jump in, but it's good. But you can't get better if you don't have the competition. So it was never one thing, really. Never one thing.
Okay. Now, you mentioned about like how kind of like people see you, you know, making money, like, hey, you know, if I'm making this much in commission, how much is this brand actually making? And then there's certain individuals that are like, I don't want to take on the workload to actually go on that work. I'd rather just get the paycheck and do it. And there's people who are like, I'm going to start my own thing. And something of, you know, making things work. I feel like Gymshark, like, you know, obviously it's evolved over time, and, you know, it started with the stringers and the bra with Myron and stuff. And, you know, it's evolved into a classier, you know, brand at the moment. Do you think that you had, like, a lot of people with clothing is like, the tough thing with clothing is figuring out the trends. And there's a lot of huge brands that are way ahead on the trends and like set the trends. Do you think that Gymshark did things that were trendy, or you decided what the trends were going to be?
No, we just followed the trends. If we saw stringers selling well, which we did, this is how it started. We didn't create that trend. That trend was created by Aziz. He created the small shorts and the stringer vest, and we just jumped on the trends. You got to always jump on trends because it keeps you relevant. If you're not relevant, then you're nothing. You need to be a relevant brand. And you have your best sellers, but then you have your things like your oversized t-shirts. Like right now, it's your pump covers, your oversized t-shirts, your small shorts. Like that's a trend at the moment. You got your 90s that are back in, your old school dad shoes and your relaxed clothing. Like that's a trend, but you need as a brand to jump on it because you need to stay relevant.
Yeah. How do you balance like with trends and whatnot? How they, you know, trends come and go. Certain things are timeless that just are, you know, always going to be in style. With early on in the brand, how did you manage inventory because, you know, you have to order it X amount of time before and trends come and go. Like how did you manage inventory? And obviously we talked about earlier about the mistakes of ordering too much.
Well, luckily for us, like we sold out before we got to those issues because we had more demand than we had cash. So every time we ordered, we sold out. Like we were buying stock in to sell out basically, and we couldn't get any more. Obviously knowing what I know now, you can get, obviously, you can speak to the bank, you can get, you know, trade. There's loads of different things you can do. But back then we were just ordering basically to sell out straight away. So
how did you manage like cash flow back then? Was it like, because obviously you're making a lot of money before university, then you quit university and, started Gymshark and you started making a lot of money. How did you, because I always preach to everyone and now I'm learning it, especially on a large, I never really had to truly understand it with Ever Forward because it wasn't doing the numbers to make me think about it all the time. With Sour Strips, it is where, you hear the phrase like cash is king. When y'all were starting to make a lot of money early on at a younger age, were you like the type of person of, I'm going to buy nice shit? Or were you like, we need cash in the business, let's put every penny back into it?
So we never, ever took it. That's why we were making 10 grand a week and I had 2 jobs.
A week?
10 grand a week and I had 2 jobs as the pot wash and at Burton's Menswear. And Ben also was a pizza delivery driver. None of us took any money out of the company because we wanted to put all the money in to invest into stock. That's all we cared about is we can take some money out later. Like, why not? Let's get as big as we can first and let's get the hard part out of the way and then we can take cash at a later stage. We've like 18, 19, don't need money. What do we need money for? We didn't have nice shit or the same clothes every single day. Still now I don't have anything nice. Like all my stuff I'm wearing is my own brand.
I remember
I don't wear anything.
Was it
So like this is MDV, which we started as well along the way because we wanted to. So I said to Reese Wabara, who's a close friend, I said like, you're like anything you wear, people look up to you in terms of like you wear some fucking cool shit. And I said to him, let's make a fashion clothing company.
Yeah.
And we already had the suppliers, we already had all the connections, we already had athletes that we could give it to. He was a footballer at the time, so he could give it to some of his contacts. So we made another company along. It was me.
Manière Devoir.
Manière Devoir, yeah. So it's just me and Reese now, but it was me, Reese, and Ben at the very start. And we used to just sell fashion clothing. So t-shirts with croc leather on and shoes and everything. And that company is now doing 35 million a year.
I remember you said like, I don't have nice shit. I remember one time you visited and we were all like staying at Christian's. This is years and years ago. But you had Gucci something, and then you're like, this is cool, and you're like, let me like try it on or something. Like, it's fucking fake. You're like, I wouldn't pay money for this shit.
No way. That's what I mean. It was, if I've got anything nice, it's well, not. I haven't got anything nice now, but back then, of course, it was. Why am I going to buy something for £1,000 when I could buy the same thing that looks the same for like £70?
When was at what point what was the first like payout you got of like, I got some money now? Like when it was doing well enough that you're like, we can pull some money out.
So I was 21 at the time. The first car I got was an Audi R8. It was my first ever car was an Audi R8, but it wasn't a new Audi R8. It was a 2008 model that was like 3 years old. I paid like 50 grand for it. All the appreciation had gone. It was to me, I look at how much can I lose, and I actually ended up making money on that car. I bought it for like 52 grand. I sold it for like 56. So I didn't even lose money on an Audi R8 that I had for a year. That was the first time we kind of took a little bit of money out, but still, we're only taking like 2 grand. I just didn't spend any money. Yeah. I lived at home. That's why I urge anyone here listening, like live at home as long as you can. Save money to buy a house. Don't go renting if you can. Obviously, I understand everyone's situation's different, but try and stay at home as long as you can. Save up money and then buy a house. Get on the property ladder. For most people listening, it's the easiest money you can make is buy a house. Buy the worst house on the road. Do all the paint yourself, like rip all the stuff out, get certain people to do like your kitchen and so on, just simple things, and you'll make money. You can't really lose money in a house.
Seems smart with your cash, dude. And then eventually,
but I was always frugal.
Yeah,
I was never someone that, because I didn't have an.
Yeah, you didn't come from money.
I didn't come from money. I was always taught to be frugal. Like we used to go on £1 holidays, and we used to go to Butlins and so on. We used to drive to Spain because it was cheaper. We'd go on the coach. We didn't even fly. I was never taught to be flashy. So every bit of money I had, all I wanted to do was save it because I never knew what was going to be around the corner. But that wasn't me trying to be smart. That was the way I was. I didn't really think about it. I just I never wanted to spend money at all. I still don't spend money. Like in comparison to how much I'm worth, in comparison to how much I spend, people with 1,000 times less than me spend 1,000 times more than me. I don't spend nothing on anything. As I said, all I'll do is wear my own brand clothing. That's it.
I still, when I go into restaurants, I order the 12. Do you have to actually be 12 to order the 12 under menu?
That's what I mean.
It's only $1.
I hate smart restaurants. I don't like people like looking after me too much because I almost feel like I need to look after them. Like when someone's doing too much for me, I feel embarrassed. Like I go to, if I ever go to a smart place and then someone's like looking after me, like,
wait, what is smart like?
Smart's like nice. I'm saying,
okay,
like, if I go to all right, let's say I go to a nice restaurant or we go on a nice holiday, like the people are too kind to me. And I almost feel embarrassed that they're being too kind for me. I understand, yeah, that's how I've paid for it, but I'm not that type of person. Like, I'm the type of person that will pay for a nice holiday, and I'll be the person looking after the person that should be looking after me.
Yeah.
Like, no. Like, so let me give you an example. I paid for the first time for a chef to come around my house to look after us, to cook. And like, they're asking me to get a drink. And I'm like, no, you sit down, I'll get you a drink. And I've paid them to be there, and I'm looking after them, but that's just the way I am. I don't like people looking after me.
Well, so I guess at a certain point, like, you know, you couldn't do that, and now you can, and you're still kind of like stuck in your ways in a good way.
Yes.
Kind of, you know, you keep your ego check, you know, regardless of your income, your personality doesn't change with that. It doesn't scale with it of your cockiness or your ego of like, I can buy my way into whatever. With it, wrapping up kind of the Gymshark talk with the exit, how did you know when it was the right time to like step away from the business?
Well, truly, obviously, I'd already partly exited before that, and I didn't really have no control over the position I was in. But saying that, they were going to do it. They were going to do a deal with General Atlantic for a billion, and it was the perfect time for me to actually fully exit from the brand. So I said, look, give me 100 million, and I'm going to leave, and I don't want no more ties. I made sure I negotiated the contract that was in the exit how I wanted it, and I got everything I wanted from the exit. So there's no bad blood from my exit. It was perfect for me. And from then on, I then waited for my my clauses to end, and then a year on, I invested in my very close friends, Aybl Group, which they had another clothing company called Because of Alice, which is a women's fashion clothing company founded by Alice, which is why it's called Because of Alice. Contemporary fashion brand out of the UK. We're doing great numbers now. We're growing fast. And we've got a clothing company, a gym activewear company, which is women's only. And again, we're growing incredibly fast. So I invested in that, and I could not be happier.
You made $100 million from your exit?
Pounds. We don't talk dollars.
Well, now it's a dollar. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Give or take $100 million.
Yeah. So, I mean, but that money to me is money that I can stick into the machine and make a hell of a lot more money. If I didn't do anything for the rest of my life, that if I was to die at, let's say, 80, that money's probably going to be worth, I haven't done the compound interest calculator, but I'd imagine it's going to be worth in excess of 10 billion cash if I was to die from now, 40 years time.
You said 10 billion?
Yeah, if I was to die at 80, stick it in the S&P 500 with a compound interest calculator, 100 million. I haven't done the math, but you're probably looking at 10 billion, maybe even more.
I don't want to tell you how to spend your money, but you could take all of your money and put it into Dogecoin, and I think you could be the richest man in the world, dude.
Really?
I say risk it all for the biscuit.
Did you see the guy at Dogecoin, how much he was up, and then obviously he didn't sell?
Oh, yeah. No,
we're all Doge. What's his name? Doge Millionaire.
The guy with the crazy hair. Yeah.
Cool. But I say to anyone, like even in the S&P 500, if you can find a way to invest $500 a month. You don't have to invest $500 a month, but this is an example I'm going to give. $500 a month over a 30-year period, you will be a millionaire. If you can find a way to get $500 a month into Vanguard, into the S&P 500 every single month over 30 years, you will be a millionaire. And guess how long it takes you to make another million? First million, 30 years. How long to make the second million?
5 days.
No, 7 years.
Yeah.
And then to make the next million, 4 years. And then probably 2 years.
Compounding interest, baby.
Every single year after that, you're probably doubling your money.
Now,
million.
Let me ask you, a lot of people are working to get to X age, or they have like this dollar amount in their head. Like, if I only had this much money in my head, I could retire and sit on the beach. Now, as a man who got a lot of money from your exit, and that's like, you know, you had money before that as well, you know, getting distributions, whatever. I feel like it'd be easier. The question people would ask of like, why didn't you just chill? Like, you have what we would call in the business, fuck you money. You have it, dude. In America, we call it fuck you money. Oprah's got fuck you money. You know, a lot of people do. You have this money where you could support everyone, all your boys and girls that, you know, came up with you, your whole family, the next couple generations, and you could sail off into the sunset, as they say. Why did you jump back into business?
Because it's not enough. It's never enough. It will never ever be enough. I'm not chasing the money anymore. I'm chasing the journey. And fortunately for me, the journey always equals money.
Yeah.
I'm interested in the money game, and everything I do seems to make money. That's what interests me. What am I going to do? Sit there for 24 hours a day doing absolutely nothing.
Play Fortnite.
Yeah, but you can only play Fortnite so many times, and then it gets boring. Like,
False.
well, maybe not you because you're not so good at it. I actually played with Max once, and fuck me.
I've been playing for 5 years.
I was carrying him.
I'm trying to get a first place, dude. I'm trying to get a dub. I just can't.
Still trying to win. Yeah. So now we just like to stay busy. Like now, I want to with Aybl Group, we want to partner with people around the world that have exciting businesses. We've been there, done it. We understand what it takes. We're not these. You know, you've probably done the same. Like you'll sit and listen to people trying to invest in your company, and they're sat the other side of you and they're talking absolute bollocks. They haven't got a clue. They're too old. They don't understand how social media works. They're asking for your business plan. I'm thinking, why do I need to tell you my business plan? You don't even know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We understand everything that goes into a business. We've been there, done it. We've got the t-shirt. We've lost money. We've made money. So I feel like we can help elevate certain companies, but we're too nice. You can come to us and get free advice. If you're a decent company, we'll give you free advice. We will never take a stake in your company. We'll just give you the free advice if we're not interested. We did it with another company more recently. They messaged us. They asked for advice. They were turning over £250,000. We gave them some advice to move on Shopify. You know what? We asked for their business plan. They told us what they were doing. We told them, like, you're making a big mistake. Like, most of your revenue comes from this product. So why are you spending most of your time on this product that does 10% of your revenue? They've switched that around. They've gone from £250K to £1 million in 1 year. That's free advice.
Yeah.
Like, most people will try and take half your company for that advice, but I'm not like that. I'm not interested. There's enough for everyone else. And I think that they see, I think it goes a long way in business, being real with people. And anyone that we take on board, we will be 100% behind you. We will never fuck you. There's a lot of people in business that will write things in contracts that you don't see, or you may be incredibly immature to realize what you're actually signing up to. I feel like with the morals that we have, we would never do that to anyone. And that's one thing I hold in. You could do a handshake deal with me and I'll always stick to it. I did a handshake deal with my friend Reese to give him back 17% of the shares. That 17% of the shares probably would have been worth about £40 million. And I did the handshake deal years ago and I didn't have to do it. And obviously, because we did the deal, I signed it over to him recently. That's what I'm like. If I sign up to something verbally, then I've agreed.
I feel like you're a different breed of type of person.
But to me, that's how everyone should be. I understand that's not how the world works, but that's how I am and that's how I'll always be.
Yeah.
Like if we agree something, I'll hold the other person may not hold their end up. And yeah, it's probably got me into trouble a couple of times, but I can't help that's the way I am.
With the exiting of Gymshark and then, you starting, you misspelled it by the way, but AYBL, Aybl Group. Do you ever have I feel like, which obviously you have, would you just pronounce it BOA or BOA?
So yeah, because of Alice, so it's just short for BOA.
Okay. And then you have the Aybl, Be-Able, right?
Yeah. So Be-Able's the domain because we can't get Aybl, but the brand's called AYBL Aybl, which is a women's activewear clothing.
You have the money to get the domain, dude.
They don't reply. We've offered stupid amounts of money. We just can't get them to respond.
Fun fact, which I don't know if I've told people on social media. So Everforward Apparel is our website.
Yep.
There's a guy who owns everforward.com. And I'm actually now, I think if you go there, it's just a broken link. But before you would go there and it was a picture of 2 motorcycles sitting on a highway. The whole website is this picture. And if you hovered over the picture, you could click on it. If you clicked on it, it would just open an email to email like
GoDaddy or
help at everforward.com. And I remember contacting this person. I'd be like, I want to buy your website. It's clearly about nothing. And at the time, he was like, I want $10,000. And this is like early on. And I was like,
no,
fuck off. Fuck off. 2 years down the road, I was like, I will pay you this $10,000. And he's like, no. I was like, why? He's like, I don't want to sell it. I was like, but I'm the only person in the world who needs everforward.com. Like, there's no, like, why do you have any? He to this day will not sell it to me.
Really?
Period. Like, no amount of money. He just like won't sell the website. So I was like, I understand it. But to get back to the original question, when you leaving Gymshark, starting Aybl Group, where you build brands, whatever, do you ever have the mindset of comparing everything you do to the success of your last business?
I think I don't do that. but I think people probably will try and compare everything we do to try and be as big as that business. We will make companies and we will be valued a lot more than that business for sure. But there's no doubt. But every brand can't be another brand. Every brand can't be Gymshark. Every brand can't grow that fast. You have to hit a certain number of things at the right time. And we understand that. I think that's good. Everyone's trying to create a company that was just like a unicorn at the right time. So no, we don't do that. We understand our limits, and yeah, that's what I'd say.
I think it's with timing as well, and timing, doing the right thing at the right time. Luck plays into a lot of it. Do you think if Gymshark started right now, do you think you could get it to $1 billion?
Not as fast.
Yeah,
no way. You'd have to do it a different way. I'm not saying no one could ever do it, but a lot of stars would need to align, and I don't believe we could do it in that fast. No.
Do you associate luck with a lot of your success?
Yeah, of course, but luck only works if you action.
Yeah,
you have to action to start the luck process. As you said, timing's key, but without action, none of it works.
What is the goal of Aybl Group?
So I think Aybl Group is our company that we're going to be a part of for a very long time. We want to, as I said, keep building different companies out. We're gonna potentially start another line for male fitness wear, and keep.
The money is not in male fitness, dude.
No, but
ladies.
Yeah. But we've already got ladies.
Yeah.
We won't do men. But I think that, as I said, we love the fitness industry because it's done so much for us. Forget about the money, but just the atmosphere that it creates for people, the life that it creates, the mentality from being healthy. Like, some people get rich and then they start to eat loads of shit food and get fat, but that's never going to be me. I always want to be healthy, stretch, and live as long as I can. That's the way I am, and I think that's the way everyone should be. Although all we're doing is selling clothing, we're doing more than that. We're promoting a healthy lifestyle through the brand that we're trying to create. Yeah, we're selling clothing, but we're doing much more than that.
Do you have like I don't want to say an exit plan with Aybl Group, but do you have an exit plan in life of like a timeline? I know you said like the journey will never stop, the hustle will never stop. I'm going to keep like grinding. Enough is never enough. But is there,
No.
as a new father?
I would say no. So what all we do is we just slow down at certain periods of our life. So right now, I've become a father, and I spend as much time as I physically can with her, but you can't spend every single minute of every single day with anyone. Like, it's not healthy. If I sat at home with my little girl all day, every day, like, that wouldn't be fun for her, wouldn't be fun for me. She would suffer because she'd get bored. Like, kids want to learn all the time. So she goes to nursery now 3 or 4 days a week. So I see her morning, night time, 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and with her every single day. So she's learning too. So I wouldn't want to literally with anyone spend every minute of every day.
When do you think slow down Lewis will come?
No, I've slowed down more recently because of that reason, but I will never ever switch off.
You don't think so?
No way.
So you're never going to be I'm on the beach sipping pina coladas?
No way, because I don't. I think the second you start to switch off is the second you start to die, in my opinion. You see it all the time. People retire and then they go downhill really, really fast. They'll quit work at like 70, 80, and then what happens? They go downhill really fast. I don't personally, like, this is my retirement. This is what I enjoy. So if I was to quit, I would go insane.
Yeah.
Like, I would, and you probably would be the same. I would be mentally ill because all I would be doing is thinking, I'm not doing enough. I'm a failure. That's what I'd be saying to myself, for sure. That's what would happen.
Let me ask you, as someone who has this mentality of, chasing, I guess, purpose and achievements and, legacy, whatever it is you're kind of chasing, because you have the money. Like, you have the money. There's a lot of people that only chase the money. And as maybe someone who has financial success and you're like, I could stop what I'm doing, what advice do you give people who money is the only motivator for what they do?
Well, if you enjoy it, then I can't give you any more advice as long as you enjoy what you're doing.
But I guess
you have to enjoy it. I don't care what you do. It's irrelevant. Whether you're the most successful person in the world, whether you're the most motivated, like, you can be motivated, but you might not be happy. You can be fucking sat at home all day, every single day. And that's what makes you happy. Playing games, like, that's fine. As long as it makes you happy, you're healthy. I ain't got an issue with that. I've got absolutely no issue. It's when the people are grinding every single day. They've got no work-life balance. They're not going on holidays. They're not seeing their family. They're not seeing their friends. They're not having fun. That's not a life to me. You're in prison at that point.
Why are you talking about Christian, bro?
Yeah. I mean, Christian, but he says he wants to slow down, but I don't know whether he really wants to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what he enjoys. And I've said to him,
I've never seen.
he
loves
should
it.
never sell his company. I've said this to him, never, ever sell your company. I don't care who offers you any amount of money, because nothing will make you happier than your company right now. You should never sell it. Make another company and sell that. Don't sell Alphalete ever, because you'll never forgive yourself. And I tell him that all the time. You should never sell that company.
That's some wise words, dude, from a veteran in the space.
Yeah.
What's next for you, man? You seem to, you obviously got your hands in a lot of new businesses. You love clothing. You know what works. You know how to build brands. You started getting into, you just bought 50 acres of land in the UK.
I did, yeah.
Where you can't build shit.
People don't understand that. I was trying to explain to you how 50 acres in the UK isn't like 50 acres in Texas and you can just build all over it. The UK care about their land because we're so fucking small. If we built on it, it'd probably sink. Like, we have to
because it rains so much.
Well, we have to protect the countryside. There's not that much of it. So, I mean, UK laws are a lot different. We have to look after it. So, yeah, I've got 50 acres, but I'm going to build something special. And I'm going to try and I keep saying it, but I'm going to try and make a great YouTube series out of it and teach people about property as much as I can, because I said it earlier in the podcast, but I think for most people can understand property. Yeah. And I think most people can make money from property. I don't believe that most people can make money in the stock market. They can if they just keep investing into
smart stuff. Yeah,
just something like an index fund, the S&P 500. But the problem is it's so easy to deviate from that. Whereas a property, like, you're kind of tied in a little bit longer, which keeps people safe. There was a stat the other day that came out by someone like Bank of America that if you have $1 in your bank account, you're almost 100% likely to spend it. If you've got $1 in either property or an index fund in the stock market, you're almost 100% likely not to spend it. So for most people, they need to tie their money up into something that's making money.
Do you think that you'll always kind of like keep trying new ventures? Do you think like property you're new into, clothing? Do you think, like, are you invested into any restaurants or?
No, I'm not investing into any restaurants. I would never say never, for sure. It has to make sense and it has to be at the right time. I'm investing in a lot of different companies through the stock market, through equities. I am invested in a lot of companies that I probably would never ever dream of. You know, Wynn Resorts, for example. You know, Wynn, like big company.
Like Wynn, like
the hotel.
Vegas and stuff?
Yeah. So
you're invested in them?
Yeah, I'm invested in Wynn. So doing very well, actually. In very good company. Pay dividends too, which is good.
Yeah.
So obviously through equities, you get exposure to a lot of different companies. And I also urge any business owner to go on something like Seeking Alpha, for example, and look at different companies and read their earnings reports and go through them, because they give you a projection of the environment and how they're doing. Okay, you like clothing companies, all right, we'll read Deca Sports or anyone like that, JD or so on, and they tell you what they're seeing from their company, like where they think it's going to go. Because obviously as a public company, you have to give out all this information. So you can look at what's working for them, what's not working. Like Southeast Asia and China is great at the moment for apparel companies. They're growing rapidly. Deca Sports, who own UGG, and you've got what they called, Hoka, the shoe brand.
Yes,
growing very, very fast.
Yeah,
again.
everyone you wear.
Yeah. Starbucks are investing heavily in China, so you just get to learn a lot more about the world. I would say to most people, especially if you're in business, you need to start reading about companies that are floated.
Outside of business stuff, outside of even family, what does Lewis Morgan do to just, when you want to fully disconnect and literally waste time? What is your go-to thing that you're just like, I love doing this thing that it like doesn't provide any value? I don't
Gaming.
Make any Gaming?
Yeah.
What are you playing?
I haven't played. To be fair, I haven't played. Last thing I played was Call of Duty. So we used to play game battles all the time. Game battles. Do you know what game battles is?
No.
So Game Battles is a competitive website where you can sign up and you play 4v4s versus people, but everyone's fucking sweaty. You're only playing sweaty people. But that's competition to me, but we love competition. I'm lucky enough to be in a little group of people that are very competitive. yeah, we have arguments because we're really competitive.
Yeah.
But it's good because it's good for your mental health. Like we want to be always better. We've started playing chess now. We play golf. So I always play golf. Went to Pebble Beach recently. It was fucking epic. But yeah, that's one thing I play. A lot of golf, especially on the weekends, and game.
Everyone says that either golf is they love it or it's the most boring thing. I've never played a full game of golf.
It's hard.
Do you smoke cigars and like drink Bud Light while you do it?
No, I don't. I just get the boogies and I just ram my friends.
You know,
I just ram my friends off the course.
It's like Jackass back in the day.
Yeah.
Doing the flips and shit.
We're the richest, stupidest little group. Like we hate. I think everyone. You know when you get these seedy middle-aged men, or they've got their corporate 150K a year jobs, and they just think they're the bollocks.
Yeah.
My worst type of people. I fucking hate them because they think they're top of here, and we're just going around messing about, fucking up, driving our buggies into bunkers and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, we're just fucking about. So we're just having a good time.
Let me, one question I meant to ask. So you started investing in land. You mentioned you want to start a YouTube series.
Yeah.
Now, Lewis, I'm worried about you starting a YouTube series because I'm worried you might be a quitter because you used to have a podcast and you gave up on it.
Not giving up on it.
When was the last upload on your podcast?
So
months ago.
Yes, months ago. I haven't given up on it though. I will still continue it. It's just not a priority for me right now. Unfortunately.
7 years later, he's gonna be like, it's still not a priority right now.
You know what it's like. You know what it's like. You speak. It's hard to get people on the podcast, especially when I'm not willing to go to people. Because truthfully, I don't care that much about it. If I truly, fully wanted to give them all, I would. I like speaking to people, but it needs to be at the right time. So I will continue to speak to people, and I will continue to do videos. But they need to be on my. I'm in a great position where I don't need YouTube, so it's at the back part of my life. Obviously, my little girl came along and she took over. My mate, I care about my business, my little girl and my family, and the YouTube stuff second. But YouTube's hard. YouTube's one of the hardest things that I've ever done. It's not easy. Like unless, well, I don't know. It's hard, much harder than people think. And obviously, all the credit to you. It's consistently hard.
Yeah,
it's not easy.
Well, dude, I hope you get back in the podcast stuff because I've become a new fan of just watching videos of people sitting down and talking with each other. And I know you never asked me to be on Gymshark, but I hope one day you ask me to be on your podcast.
You've been on my podcast. What the fuck are you on about? You did one of the first episodes with me.
No way, I forgot.
You idiot.
I messed up what I said. I want to be a guest again on the podcast.
I
forgot about that.
I would love to do a podcast.
It's been fucking years.
Yeah, so you were one of the first people that did it, but you made it easy. Like I reached out to you, let's get on the podcast, easy peasy. You know what I mean? So that's what you want from people.
Now
You want
I
it
look
to be
like
easy.
a freaking dickhead because I forgot.
But next time, I want to do a podcast with you and Christian together, maybe.
Little gangbang.
All three of us. Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be really cool, actually.
You know, throughout this entire podcast, I've heard you use a lot of different like lingo and stuff that like the UK and stuff.
Yeah,
Does it ever get annoying of like stupid Americans just like acting like they're British?
No, I think it's quite cool to be fair.
Can you talk in an American accent? I'm gonna say a sentence. You say
Okay,
it in English.
go.
Okay, or not English. in dumb American. Okay. Wow, I really like this sandwich. I can't wait to wear my Gymshark shirt later and go to the gym.
Wow, I really like that sandwich, dude. You know what? The thing is, whenever you emulate someone from America, you have to throw the word dude in there.
Yeah?
Because I feel like it's such an American word.
Just start talking in like an American accent.
That's something for Dan to do. I'm not that
You
good
can't.
at it. I'm not too good at that.
I feel like I can talk in a perfect British accent.
No, but you don't sound British. You just sound like
fuck off, you wanker. This is perfect.
You just sound like an idiot.
I'm from the Sussex up in Birmingham.
No, you probably sound more like you're from Kent, I'd say.
Would you call me? Dude, what is next for you, man? I know you got your hands on a lot of things. You're an entrepreneur. You're a businessman. You're a father. What does the future look like for you? You got any like exciting stuff that maybe this isn't going up for over a month?
Right.
Maybe you got something coming up that give the people a hint at, something cool?
No, nothing out of the ordinary. Just continuing life, enjoying myself, and just building businesses, making money as a byproduct of what we do. But you're never going to see me ever doing nothing. Just remember, anytime you think about me, I'm always up to something. You might not see it because I don't post that much. I'm fucking always up to something. And I mean, hopefully, I'm hoping I can stick to YouTube because I feel like I can provide a lot of value to people. It's just, as I said to you before, YouTube's not something I really, really want to focus on, but I want to do it because I want to provide value for people. So I'm hoping people can see a lot more of me this year doing YouTube stuff.
I want to ask one more question that I think you'd be a good person to
You've said that
answer.
about 5 times.
I fucking like you, bro. Okay? I really like you, and I want to keep asking questions. As someone who, have a baby's on the way?
Yeah, I've got 2.
Okay. Another girl?
I don't know yet. But I'll know by the time this comes out, though.
You think it's going to be a girl or boy?
I feel like it might be another girl, but I'm not fussed either way. Like, I'm not one of these people that's going to be hung up on, I want a boy, I want a girl, because I think that's when you keep trying. Before you know it, you've got 20 kids.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. As someone who, and I hate like the phrase of like we understand you have a wealth, right? But as someone who's a new father, a younger father, and someone who maybe didn't come from a lot, has built success for themselves, what's your thought about raising children? And like, you have the ability to be like, my kids never need to lift a finger for the rest of their lives. I can't imagine raising a kid and not knowing of like, do I treat them how I was when I was a kid? Do I make them work when clearly they don't need to? How do you establish morals and values and, understanding the power of a dollar? And, like, have you thought about that?
Yeah.
Or you're just like,
no, of course.
Whatever they want,
No
first
way.
car, Lambo.
Nope, not happening.
Yeah?
No chance. That's not happening. Yeah, when I die, you can take over. I would try and lead them to take over the empire for sure. You have, and they have to be ready. It's imperative that they learn and they have a hard life. Like, you can't have it easy. They're not going to be in 5-star hotels all the time. No way. I'm gonna give them a mixture of life because
they're gonna sit in coach and I'm gonna be in first.
They're gonna
be like, why can't I sit in first? Be like, because you don't have any money.
Absolutely. Like, what I've got is not what they've got. They have to be in the right mindset. You have to appreciate everything from everyone. Look at different cultures. Look at different levels of life, because that's where you can like, they can't sit. They wouldn't be able to sit on here and have a conversation if they were stuck up. They wouldn't understand the lingo. They wouldn't. You know what I mean? You have to understand different people's mindsets, and to do that, you have to be brought up a certain way. In my opinion, you need to be thrown in the deep end, and there's no chance. Like, I'm even going on Facebook Marketplace and I'm buying secondhand kids stuff. I just went on there the other day and I bought a fridge. I bought a secondhand like cooker, and
this man's saving five pounds where he can.
Yeah, because what's the point of me buying it brand new? I still don't want to lose money. I don't care how much money I've got.
Yeah.
I'm not one to buy something for £200 and then all of a sudden sell it for £30 when someone's got something next door that I can just get off them for 30 quid and go pick up in a second, which is what I did the other day. So for me, like, my kids will grow up the right way. That's for sure. They will not be stuck up in any way, shape, or form. If I ever heard them talk bad about anyone, then they're gonna know about it. That's for sure.
Well, dude, I'm excited for your future and to see what everything unfolds, man. Thank you so much for coming on this fantastic episode of Don't Be Sour. I'm going to put all of your businesses information. I'm going to put your freaking podcast in there just so you can blow the dust off of there and get some more guests. You can
absolutely. If anyone's listening, they want to come on the podcast and they've got a great story to tell, then just message me.
You're about to get 800 emails.
Yeah, or you've got a business that you want me to help scale, then please do. But make sure you're in a position where you've got to where you think you can capably take the company yourself, and you've got a great little plan of where you want to take it, and then let's talk.
Absolutely, man. Well, that will wrap it up for this episode of Don't Be Sour. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you're listening on any sort of podcast streaming services, give us a 5-star review. I don't know what it does, but I think it helps. I'll see you guys next Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Eat more sour strips and ever forward.
Cheers, guys. Thanks.
Cheers, mate. Hey, dude.
Good, yeah?
That was solid Potter.
Good.
That might be the best interview you've ever done, dude.
How long was that?
Hour and 30. Actually, I can tell you.
Let me tell you something about them. Let me tell you something about those.
Hour and 40 minutes.
They fucking hit me.
I would have been sick.
Nah, but